As part of his hit television series Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe has worked on many farms. At American Farm Bureau's annual meeting, he told farmers and ranchers he wants to use his program to dispel the myths about America's food production system.
Mike Rowe has been producing and hosting Dirty Jobs on the Discovery Channel for 7 years. It's now broadcast in 180 countries and aired 700 times last year. Many of the dirty jobs Rowe does are on farms, and he's come to appreciate what American farmers and ranchers do to produce our food, fiber, and fuel. Rowe was the keynote speaker at American Farm Bureau's annual convention in Atlanta. He said the best way for the public to understand and appreciate modern agriculture is for farmers to let consumers see firsthand what they do day in and day out.
I think the trick, if there is one today, is just to hit the reset button and remind people in 1,000 different ways of the amazingly gobsmacked task that you guys do day in and day out, which is feed 300 million people 3 times.
Rowe says the rest of the country is disconnected fundamentally from what farmers do. He says farmers are their own best spokesmen and need to connect directly with the public, repeating the message about the miracle of American agriculture.
We've just taken it for granted, and this is, if there's a message that needs to come back to over and over and over again, it's just reminding the 300 million people who rely on what farmers do that it's not happening by magic. There's not a steak tree in the backyard. There's not a, it is extraordinary the extent to which we're disconnected from our energy, from our basic manufacturing base, and of course from our food, and from the people who provide it.
Sevier County poultry farmer Bruce Jackson says producers must demonstrate that they treat their animals humanely, even if that takes them out of their comfort zone.
Get out in front of 4 or 5 people or 20 people, whether it be in the local community, whether it be a bigger scene, but that's what we've got to do, and it is tough, and it's tough to stop and do things away from our farm. And it's a scary thought for most of us because we've not done that.
Michigan State University animal science professor Janice Swanson works with producers on countering the anti-animal agriculture propaganda. She says their most effective method is to remind their neighbors that they are consumers too.
Identify yourself as a citizen just as they are, as any consumer walking out there. You also consume the products that you produce. You also have families that you're concerned about. You also have very similar concerns with regard to human health, ability to afford food, the quality of food, and the quality of life that we live as people. So first and foremost, let them know you're one of them.
The message the more than 5,000 farmers and ranchers left with was they need to be more actively engaged in showing the non-farm public they are humane caretakers of their animals and produce safe, wholesome food.